That night feels like a shadow that still lingers, but to understand what it meant, I have to start with how things were before. For the longest time, I believed our relationship was strong enough to withstand anything. We had been together for years, built routines, inside jokes, and the kind of comfort that makes you think you've found your forever. Our mornings often began with hurried coffees, evenings filled with casual conversations, and weekends spent with friends or just curled up watching something mindless. On the surface, it looked like we had it all figured out, but deep down, I knew we were slowly drifting into a rhythm that lacked passion. Little cracks started appearing, ones I ignored because I didn't want to admit they were there. We argued about trivial things like bills or household chores, and while they never escalated, they left a lingering tension. Affection turned into habit, love into routine, and somewhere in the mix, I began to feel unseen. It wasn't that my partner stopped caring, but the way they showed it no longer reached me the way it once did. It was subtle, like an invisible distance growing between us, one neither of us acknowledged directly. Around this time, someone new began showing up in my orbit. At first, I thought nothing of it. They were just another presence, a friend of a friend, someone who blended into the background of my social circle. They had an easy smile, an effortless way of making people laugh, and conversations with them felt strangely refreshing. I didn't recognize it then, but that sense of attention was pulling at something inside me I thought I had buried. Looking back, I realized that the foundation was already fragile. It happened on a night that started out harmless, the kind of gathering where everyone just wanted to relax and unwind. There was laughter, music in the background, drinks being poured, and the familiar hum of conversations overlapping one another. I wasn't expecting anything unusual, but as the hours passed, I found myself drawn into deeper conversations with the one person I hadn't thought much about before. They asked questions that felt genuine, they listened without distraction, and the way their eyes stayed on mine made it feel like I mattered in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. As the night went on, the comfort of their presence began to blur the lines of what was appropriate. Every word they spoke seemed to cut through the noise, every laugh between us felt like it belonged to another world where obligations didn't exist. My partner was somewhere else in the room, but I wasn't thinking about them. I was caught in the gravity of someone who made me feel alive in a way I hadn't in years. The compliments slipped in naturally, and I let them land instead of brushing them off. It felt good to be seen, admired, even wanted. Inside me, there was a war I didn't want to acknowledge. I kept telling myself it was harmless, just a connection, nothing more than a fleeting spark. But the truth was, I already knew I was standing on dangerous ground. Every time they leaned closer, every time their hand brushed against mine, the temptation grew heavier. Rationality faded under the weight of desire and loneliness I hadn't admitted to myself. I told myself I deserved to feel this way, that maybe it wasn't as wrong as it seemed. And then, in a moment that felt both reckless and inevitable, I let the boundary slip, knowing deep down that there would be no undoing it. The morning after, looking back, I realized that everything shifted after that night, even if no one else could see it at first. The way I interacted with my partner was never the same. I carried the weight of what happened in every conversation, every touch, every shared moment. Love that once felt steady and certain now felt fragile, tainted by the knowledge of what I had done. Even when I tried to pretend nothing had changed, I could feel the distance growing wider, a quiet reminder that trust, once broken, never truly returns in its purest form. There were days when I thought about confessing, imagining how the words might sound if I let them out. But fear kept me silent, fear of losing everything we had built, fear of watching their face collapse under the truth. Silence became my shield, yet also my prison. My partner went on, unaware of the storm I had created, still showing me kindness, still offering the same loyalty I had failed to protect. That contrast haunted me. Their love felt undeserved, and each gesture only deepened the ache inside me. What made it worse was that I could never look at them the same way again. Not because I loved them less, but because I knew I had betrayed not only them, but myself. I had stepped outside of everything I claimed to value, and no amount of excuses could erase it. That night had marked a line in our story that could never be crossed back over. Whether they ever find out or not, the truth is that nothing about us will ever be untouched again. That night didn't just change our relationship, it redefined it, leaving me with the knowledge that the version of us that existed before will never exist again.